Been a while since I brought the guitar out. Been a while since the Bruins have played a game worthy of the guitar. Bruins friends, it is time to hug it out, because that is a 3-1 victory over the new look Colorado Avalanche. Welcome back down into the den, everybody. I'm not gonna lie, a decent amount of this game was pretty heavily influenced over the trade that the Colorado Avalanche just made last night with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Carolina Hurricanes. But before we get into that, before we get into how their season and their future has just been changed unmistakably, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell. Stay up to date with all my projects. I want to thank you guys for getting my first short from an episode of Into the Den up to 100 views. There will be more to come. I have one in the works right now. And you can be sure that there will be more short content from me in the future. I'm so happy that this is found on an audience, and and I cannot wait to make more. Anyway, I said that this game is pretty heavily influenced by a trade that the Avalanche made with the Hurricanes and Blackhawks. So let's get into that. Last night, a major trade was concocted between these three teams that shook the NHL. Let's be completely honest. Going the Avalanche's way was Martin Necas, Jack Drury, Carolina's 2025 second-round pick, and Carolina's 2026 fourth-round pick. To the Carolina Hurricanes went Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall, and to the Chicago Blackhawks went Carolina's 2025 third-round pick and 50% of Rantanen's salary. I'm not gonna lie, this is a trade that I'm not entirely sure how to parse. Hi, it's me from the editing bay. I figured out a way to parse this. The Carolina Hurricanes see themselves in a position to compete this year, and so they are loading up on talent. And even though Taylor Hall is not the Hart winner that he used to be, getting him and the sixth highest scoring player in the NHL right now is a decent way to start competing. The Blackhawks are simply doing this to shed some salary from Taylor Hall, even though they are taking on half of Rantanen's contract. It's only for 1 year, and this offloads the bloat of a Taylor Hall contract onto the Carolina Hurricanes. And for the Avalanche, even though Rantanen is disappointed that this trade happened, it does seem like Colorado was not confident that they were going to make a new contract happen for Rantanen and still be cap compliant the next year. So they shipped him off, got a decent haul back. They're still going to be competitive. Hell, with Martin Necas on their team, maybe even more competitive. But this does kind of help them to get out of a potentially dicey contract situation. Now back to the video. How did the Bruins respond? By sending Patrick Brown and Michael DiPietro back down to Providence. Fantastic. I love this. So Swayman's back in net after a minor upper body injury, and he's going across from Scott Wedgwood. Puck drops, and it's evident right off the bat that the Avalanche are out everythinging the Bruins. But one thing really caught me, and it's a small part, but it goes into the theme of this game. The thing that caught me was the video board ads were glitching out like hell. The worst that I have seen them flicker since the first year that they were implemented. It was bad. It was really bad. But the Bruins, but as as far as the on ice product goes, the Bruins were getting their teeth kicked in. McKinnon is owning the show. Lehkonen was owning the show. Taves and Makar continued to be the best, one of the best defensive pairings in the entire league. Even the bottom niners like Juuso Parssinen and got in on it. It was a very one-sided affair that finally broke through for Colorado in the first moments of the second period, with one of the coolest assists that I've seen all season. I will give Juuso Parssinen full props here. No look between the legs to Artturi Lehkonen, who is just on an island. Kick your feet up, have a spotty, why don't ya? And Swayman can't really defend it. And yeah, I will give some crap to the defense for this one. And I still don't entirely understand why Zadorov is up with Peak. I still think that the Lori Peak pairing is probably our best of the scraps that remain of our defense. I don't know why we don't play those two together or more. But regardless, this was just a fantastic goal from Lehkonen. Throughout the entire rest of the second period, the Bruins are just getting caved. They can't make any sort of forward momentum. The Avs are putting on shot after shot. The Bruins, by the end of the second period, have like 9 shots on goal. It's a sad state of affairs. And considering that the Avalanche had 2 newcomers in less than 24 hours, and have to adapt to a brand new team and structure. For them to not really struggle at all for the first 40 minutes is kind of crazy. But notice how I did say the first 40 minutes, because the Bruins realized that the video ads were flickering, and they decided to call up tech support. And who do you call when you need tech support? You call up the Geek Squad. It cannot be understated how good this second line of Zacha, Geeky, Pastrnak has been. Geeky and Pastrnak in particular have had a January to remember. Geeky entered this game with like 6 goals in January, with 2 in the last 2 games, and he always seems to be in the mix, behind only Pastrnak, who notched his 10th. Actually, no. Behind only Pastrnak, who notched his 11th of the month in this game. Beautiful play from the second line, especially on the second goal, with Pastrnak putting it right across the crease. It's making Devon Taves look like a complete bum. The dude completely lost track of where Geeky was, and decided, I'm going to tunnel vision all of my attention on Pastrnak, and Geeky's just there on the back post, just tap it in past Wedgwood. Amazing play from the second. But other than that, I will say this: the rest of the team did not look great. The top line of Marchand, Patra, and Coyle admittedly didn't really look that great. Marchand had a few really good moments, and got into it with Ross Colton near the end of the game, and with a really big hit that honestly probably should have been called for interference, but it didn't. For the rest of the game, he wasn't really that much of a factor. Patra and Coyle, I don't know what's going on with their skating. Coyle in particular, I've never seen this man lose an edge this often in his career. He like in the past couple weeks, I've seen him slip and slide, and I know it's ice, and ice is slippery, but man, dude, you've been doing this since you were a kid. You should probably have an edge here. So for them to so for this top line to be as iffy with skating as it is I want to see more of the second line. I want to see it move back up to the top line. I really want to see it move back up to the top line. I think keeping Patra with, for what it's worth, I think keeping Patra between Marchand and Coyle is the perfect way to go about this. Although it does mean that Fluto Shinazawa's athletic article about the Bruins paying $7.75 million for this for a third line center is, yeah, it's kind of true. Even though you do have to give that the attention that it deserves, I still think that keeping this is the opportunity that Patra needs to play on an actual line between two really efficient players who are highly skilled and will never take a shift off. I think that this is a great move from Sacco. Well, now what we need eventually is to get Lysell or Merkulov into the mix. I still think that the Bruins should call up Jackson Edward because as much as Michael Callahan has been doing all right, I think that this team still probably could have an additional jolt from the defense. So with this game, the Bruins move themselves further into the wild card one position in the Eastern Conference. And admittedly, wild card in the Eastern Conference this season is crazy because there's like 7 or 8 teams that could realistically win. Get into the playoffs as wild cards. The issue is that none of them are very convincing, including the Bruins, and I have been vocal about that. This isn't an uber competitive. This isn't an uber competitive conference. This is 7 to 8 teams constantly tripping over each other, trying to give everybody else the wild card position. And so for the Bruins to make it further into the playoffs, I think that it's a good thing short term, bad thing long term, because it does make Sweeney, Neely, and Jacobs more convinced that everything is fine right now. The main reason why they haven't called up Lysell, Merkulov and given them an honest chance is because they don't want to be seen as fools for keeping them in Providence for so long. They don't want this entire fan base to be vindicated about what we've collectively known about these two idiots for the past several years. That they're idiots. So, I'll see you guys in the next game. This has been a fun one. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.